and welcome back to Banjo Tooie on the Nintendo 64. I am one well sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue onwards and actually explore the rest of the fire side of Hailfire Peaks. And I didn't actually really get into my actual thoughts on this properly in the previous parts, but basically Hailfire Peaks as a whole, like this entire stage used to actually be my favorite level to run around in and explore as a kid. I used to always love going through all of these stages and just generally explore everything, because there's so many nooks and crannies to go to. There's a fantastic, beautiful aesthetics. The only downside is the frame rate, really, of this world. Like, the frame rate just really goes to shit, and you're gonna see that a little bit later on, but yeah, this used to be my favorite world to go through. Nowadays, I'm not entirely sure if it still is my favorite, but, you know, it's still a fantastic time. What can I tell you? But, first things first, we need to go outside by here. You might notice I pushed the switch. This opens up these, platforms we can jump on. And don't jump directly into the waterfall, you will get burnt. The waterfall is boiling hot, so use your Wonder Wing power in order to basically get through, because otherwise, otherwise you're gonna get hurt. And that's no good. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed. Yes. But, generally, getting around this world can be a little bit awkward whenever you don't know where you're going as well. Like, even though I do love exploring the stage, it's one of the best stages just to explore. When you want to get through with the game and not bother with the exploration too much, and you just want to get from point A to point B, this stage then goes from a pretty entertaining romp to potentially frustrating, because it can be a little bit awkward to figure out which ways to go and how to get to certain areas, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And considering that all of the stage is actually based on a mountainside as well, basically it can be very easy to get knocked off by enemies and what have you, and have to rescale the mountainside again, and it's just very frustrating at times, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And trust me, it is very possible to get knocked off ledges and whatnot in this particular world, and it's not cool whenever it happens. Let's just say that. But anyway, you probably saw that I actually pushed the switch as Banjo, but there. Basically, there's a switch just on the outside of, just on the outside of this wall by here, and we do need to push that switch in order to open up the gate, so Kazooie can gain entry. And whenever Kazooie gains entry inside there, by the way, it's a Cheeto page by here, very easy one to miss. Basically, there's a Kazooie switch that she can actually hit herself. So, basically, to get the Jiggy in this area, we have to essentially jump on a switch, then wait for the gate to open, and swap out to another character, go to the other switch, and we just need to sort of flip-flop between all of the rooms on the side of this Coliseum until we actually reach the Jiggy itself. And it's kind of a neat little platforming sort of puzzle, because, as you can probably tell, Kazooie doesn't really have any real way to get up by Banjo, because she can't climb or anything like that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to use the flight pad, and we actually need to use the dragon that's, on top of this mountainside to our advantage in order to actually deal with this. And watch out whenever you're coming across the walls, because these crevasses, if you will, they do have fiery hands of death that will burn you. So just be a little bit careful whenever you're scaling the outside of the mountain, because they will hurt you, and it's never cool. But basically, you just need to go across here as Kazooie, and eventually the dragon will start roaring and spitting his fire blasts at you. And you want to be basically around this general area next to this giant structure whenever he does shoot out his fire blast at you, because then, well, simply put, the fire blast will actually blow the structure to smithereens. You can probably guess by the crevices and whatnot, the cracks. It's very easy to destroy, so, you know, basically use that to your advantage. Of course, we also can get a nice easy peasy shortcut as well that we're probably not really going to use all that much, but, you know, it's handy to have extra ways to traverse the level opened up to us, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, as I said, basically just wait until the dragon roars and he'll shoot a fireball directly at you. Bada bing, bada boom. And inside this beautiful building is a beautiful flight pad. And we will be making use of this flight pad a couple of times. Because not only does it make it really easy to just traverse around this level, and it also makes the frame rate go into non-existent almost territories. This is the only way to get to the boss fight, ladies and gentlemen. The boss is at the very top of the mountain, and there is no way to scale up to the boss fight without the flight pad. You do need to go out of your way for that. But, before we bother with completing this quest, because we do need to go into the top rightmost cavern, crevice, hole thing inside the Coliseum, because it will open up the train station, and, we will need to get the train in there fairly shortly, but I'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, let's just jump on down here and, come on, make it, I'm surprised I made that, actually, because whenever you actually start in the falling animation, the rate that you fall is bloody huge, so you'll fall extremely quickly whenever you do that, but, I digress. Anyway, just hit the switch, bada bing, bada boom, switch over to Banjo, and just shimmy our way across. Now, one thing I will say about the dragon that does shoot fire blasts at you, as long as you keep moving, as long as you're moving, the dragon won't hurt you much. It is very, very, very unlikely for him to be able to hit you unless you deliberately stand still or run backwards into the line you were just walking. So, you know, you're very much not gonna find yourself getting hit by the dragon all that often, but he is still a really big annoyance during the course of the stage, and you will want to take him out as soon as possible. I mean, I do wait a little while until I go out of my way to basically take out the dragon, but what can I say? I'm an idiot. You know, if I was smart about things, I would take out the dragon right from the get-go and then deal with the platforming and whatnot a bit later on, but I digress. But eventually I will get sick enough of the fireballs and I will actually go up there and teach that dragon what is what, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. Why did I do that? That was a stupid move. Fire is hot! Newsflash, Banjo. Hoi. But of course, stage does take a little bit, well, not a little bit. The stage is one of those really slow progression levels as well. Like, completing this level doesn't take that long. But in terms of how you progress through it, it does feel very slow. I guess I can probably say it's very awkward to maneuver your way around this level because of how vertical it is and what have you. And I know a lot of people will be put off by that, and honestly, I don't blame them, because I'm generally not fond of overly vertical levels in this type of game myself, but, you know, like I said, the stage is well designed enough, and there's plenty to explore, especially your first time through, that you won't have to worry too much about that, you know, folks. Like, your first time playing through the stage will probably be the best experience you have playing through the stage, because apart from, you know, learning stupid things that can possibly hurt you, like these fire things, imagine the shock I had when I first found out these things existed. You'll generally do a lot, you'll generally have more fun exploring, you know, that's mainly what I'm getting at. This isn't a stage that lends itself very well to repeated playthroughs, because on repeated playthroughs, you'll just want to get you just want to get through the stage as quick as possible and get things done. But, oh, for God's sake, this is not going well. Jumped over the Banjo, why? There we go. Anyway, I am a bit of an idiot by here, ladies and gentlemen, because there is actually... Oh, I'm going the wrong way for one thing. But there is a honeycomb piece that I'm missing in the stage. That's basically right in the direction I was walking towards. I'm going to be honest. I forgot it existed all the way during my playthrough of this. I will be picking it up, so don't fret. So I can see the people on the YouTube comments already typing away their hate mail, saying, you failed to get this one collectible. Don't worry. I know there's a honeycomb piece over there, and I am going to show it off, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 100% playthrough, after all. Oy. But you do need to get Banjo all the way down by here in this particular sequence. And this is where it can be a little bit awkward to find your way around, because you need to get Banjo alone by here. And you can't just be Banjo and Kazooie, you need to be Banjo alone. So you need to find the right path to get by here, because, well, Banjo has himself a brand new power that he can utilize. And this here is the Shack Pack, and it basically makes you really safe in toxic surfaces and whatnot, and you can also crawl through tiny little dirty gaps using this ability. It's actually a really useful power, and we are going to be making use of it to go through like superheated bodies of water like this one, for example, or toxic sludgy areas and what have you, and just to get through tiny cracks in walls and whatnot. It's very handy. You're gonna see this used quite a bit. But, as you can probably guess by this button and by the dialogue, this is how we clear the quest line for Jolly Roger's Lagoon with the Little Pig's Pool. We can't clear it just yet because we need to cool down this water, which we won't be doing up until the final stage. Yeah, it's gonna be one of the final jiggies we get. But you know, that's generally how we access the victory portion of the mission. That's generally how we go about our ways to basically to heat up the Little Pig's Pool. It's just that water's too hot. Then again, I don't see why they're being so picky. They could probably just put the super boiling hot water in and just wait for it to cool down over time. I mean, to be fair, this isn't a volcano. You know, the water's going to be super heated no matter what. But in Jolly Roger's Lagoon, you know, it's not a volcano. It's a seaside bloody town. The water will cool down on its own anyway. So I don't understand what the big hubbub was about. Just let me push the switch, give me the jiggy, and wait for a few hours until you're able to jump in without being burnt, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. Indeed-o. I do believe now it's actually, yeah, I believe it's now time to actually pop on, actually I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing next. This is one of those worlds where it's very easy for me to get turned around. You know, so I tend to get lost in which direction I tend to be going, but, yeah, okay, now I know where I'm going. Now we're basically going to be heading inside the volcano by here, because there is a little bit of a platforming puzzle to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very simple platforming puzzle. It's basically follow the platforms and jump on the switches, bada bing, bada boom. It's easy peasy lemon squeeze, you shouldn't have any trouble with this, but you do have a limited time in this volcano. Which makes sense, because of the superheat, obviously, there's not much oxygen in here. Therefore, it's going to be hard to breathe. So, you know, we don't have much time to wander around in this volcano. So, you know, just go from point A to point B, hitting all switches as quick as you can. Don't worry if your health goes down. If your, what's the word? If your air supply goes down, don't worry, you can just leave and re-enter the area, and your progress will still be saved. You won't have to worry too much about that. The game's not dickish, basically, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you can freely exit and re-enter this area and get a refill of air supplies. Just, you know, if you want to get things done in one go, you do need to be a little bit rapid about how you progress. Not too rapid, just a little bit. And you probably noticed a honeycomb piece right there. Well, we are meant to pick it up a little bit later on in the stage, but, you know, using the Kazooie egg, we can basically just grab it now. Yes. Sequence breaking. Take that, game designers. Although I don't think that's really something the game designers really care about too much, because they know for a fact you can pick things up with the Clockwork Kazooie egg, so, yeah, no. Basically, you just need to go through all of these platform areas, hitting the switches until the final switch appears. Grab the final switch, bada bing, bada boom, and you get a fantastic jiggy reward. And those fire motherfuckers that are in this volcano, they're a pain in the ass. I'm not fond of them. Like, the way they just sort of fly around going, "Yee!" and then they just charge at you, make a beeline towards you. They're not cool, they're very frustrating. Oy. But one thing that may help you on your first playthrough as well is if you go across by here in the volcano, the game will actually give you a couple of cryptic hints on how to progress. So, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you can basically use these signposts to let you know, okay, we can do some things. I'm surprised there's not more of those signposts listed throughout the games, or if there is more of those things, I'm not really aware of them, because they can make things a lot easier to progress through, you know. They can help you out, especially if you're lost. If you're lost, you can find signposts, be like, oh, right, so maybe I can use this hint to figure out exactly what to do. Yes. And I appreciate as well the hints that are given to you. They aren't telling you flat out, oi, go here, dummy. The hints are more cryptic clues that you still need to think about and work out yourselves, which I kind of like that. I kind of really dig that, so you're not, ow. I really like that because you don't have to worry too much about... The game's not hand-holding you, you know, basically, the game doesn't think you're stupid, it doesn't treat you like an idiot. It gives you, like, oh, here's a little hint, try and make of it as you will, and you still need to think about what the hint means. And I appreciate that, it's a pretty damn dope, what can I tells ya? What can I tells ya? Indeed, yes. But anyway, now it's time to move on into the train station of this place once and for all, and, collect some of the MacGuffins that lie inside. And there is a puzzle involving Gobi, as I've already mentioned previously. We can't deal with this puzzle just yet, because we need to, first things first, we need to call the train in here. And trust me, you need this if you want to get one of the jiggies later on in the stage. You need the train to be in the train station, because, well, simply put, we need to cool down Truffy's boiler. And that's where Gobi comes in. How are we going to use Gobi to that? Well, I'll leave that a surprise until the next part, ladies and gentlemen. But basically, we need the train in the train station. That's the main thing we need. And, yeah, as long as the train's there, you're good to go. You're good to go. And you can also use this train as well, like, if you want to backtrack into different areas at this point. You can use the train from this area to backtrack as well, like... This game is really open-ended. I do appreciate that about it. Like, you... Even though, again, like I said a million times, I would prefer that you could beat every stage in one go. You know, I like the fact that it is non-linear and you don't have to do everything in a specific order. The order that you do these jiggies in are entirely up to you, for the most part. And I love that. I just love the fact that every time you see someone new play this game, the playthrough is different. You know, someone else's playthrough will be different to my playthrough. My playthrough will be different to someone else's. You know, it's... I like that. But anyway, move on over here in the train station and grab hold of this fantastic honeycomb piece. Oh god. Ah, my foot. You know, I'm surprised that Banjo only merely gets singed by the lava. Because you would think molten rock would... that would be a little bit more devastating than just giving him a tiny little burn of 1 hit point of damage, wouldn't you? I don't know. But anyway, I think that's basically all we can do for the meantime in the Fireside of Hailfire Peaks. A lot of the quests and a lot of the jiggies that we do actually accomplish are on the ice side. And yes, that's right, there is an ice side. Basically, Hailfire Peaks as a whole is split up into 2 major parts, and that's why I said that half of this level feels like a Banjo-Kazooie level, because one half of this level, which is this side, is about the length of a Banjo-Kazooie level. But the second half is also a length of another Banjo-Kazooie level, so they just sort of... It's like they took 2 scrapped Banjo-Kazooie levels and just stuck them together. And honestly, I got a weird feeling that's exactly what they did, although... I don't know, mind, because the ice side of this mountain is basically a mirror to the fire side, the only difference being, you know, the level design, and they just... Jesus Christ! Well, I got wrecked. The only major difference between the 2 sides of the mountain, apart from the obvious one's ice, one's fire, is the geometry is a little bit different, and... Well, actually, by a little bit different, I mean the geometry is completely different, but it still feels like part of the same world, if you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen, so, I don't know. But anyway, before we actually do progress into the ice side, we do need to use Banjo's new Shack Pack ability to jump into this body of water, because there is a Jinjo and fish. Huh? The fish makes sense later on, trust me. Just grab the fish. I don't understand how the fish was even that fish looked alive. I'm not sure if it was alive, but it kind of looked alive. Was it blinking or something? I don't know. I don't know how a fish got in there in the first place, because it's bloody almost like the water's boiling point. Why would there be fish in there? That's ridiculous. Yeah, but I digress. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's actually it for this part of Banjo Tooie. So with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And I will actually catch you all next time as we progress into the ice side of Hailfire Peaks. And chill out a little bit and check out the beautiful sights. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish. I'll catch you all next time. Bye!